All right, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing today? Good morning. Great. So today our guest speaker is going to talk to us about chemical runoff, its effects, and prevention. He's gained knowledge in this field by being in the turf club, being a turf major, and being an avid hunter and fisher for many years. Please help me welcome our fellow classmate and my fellow redhead, Matthew Herman.
Alright, thank you, Sydney, for that introduction. Okay, we might need to do it like this. I'm going to talk about chemical runoff today, and we're going to talk about pesticides. Pesticides is an herbicide, an insecticide, or anything you use to kill something you do not want in your lawn or in your field. We're going to look at it in lawn settings, agriculture, and golf settings. Lawn and golf is my area of expertise. So, pesticides is a big, is a big problem right now with chemical runoff into the environment, with algal blooms and other effects on the environment, of organisms, how they kill it. It's not as bad as you may think, and as they make it out to be, just like the swine industry. There's two sides of it and how they want you to see it. Okay, so on our herbicides that we're going to apply, we're going to have two main kinds. We're going to have a systemic and we're going to have a contact. On our systemic, when you spray it, it's going to take 2 to 3 days to absorb into the plant and go through the plant and kill it that way. And it's going to kill it from the leaves down all the way through the roots. Your contact is going to latch onto the leaf foliage and burn it and kill it that way. When the contact is on it, it soaks into the leaves, so very little has a chance to run off. And your systemics you water in once you put down, so it soaks and absorbs into the plant, which also does not allow for very much runoff into the environment like they say it does. Another big one is going to be your fertilizers. You can have a spray fertilizer or you can have a granular fertilizer. This Heritage G is a granular fungicide, and well, this is a fungicide. This isn't. But fungicides are caused. Fungus is caused by over irrigation. That's where you're going to water heavily. And when you want to irrigate from about 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. So you cut down your leaf wetness period. And that's also going to cause less runoff when you're irrigating, instead of putting this down before a really heavy rain is allowed to wash off, because you can control the amount of water that's going down. Okay, so environmental impacts. We can have it, the main ones when it runs off into a water system. That's when you're going to have your algal blooms, your fish kills. When the fish kills, it's going to soak into the fatty acids of the animals and kill them that way. You're going to cause tumors and cancer, and that's how it's going to kill it. You can have these large deaths of fish. This is all fish here, and it causes mass kills of them. It can also get into unwanted plants and hurt them that way if it catches in the wind and blows off.
To the right of the slides.
No, the other.
To the right.
You can get better
Of the slides, not that one.
Like to the
There you go.
Okay, now you're talking about fertilizers. You're going to have two different kinds of fertilizers. You're going to have your fast release and your slow release. Your fast release are going to be your ureas. That's where you're going to have your highest number in the front. It's contain nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and then nitrogen is your main number you're looking at. That's what's going to cause all your damage when it runs off. And slow release is going to break down by microbial activity, or by the environment, or by water. So when you water it in, this helps breaks it down. But your fast release, if you get a heavy rain, that can wash off and then release into the environment. And this is an effective fertilizer. It promotes plant growth, and when it goes into the water, you're promoting an algal bloom, and that can also choke out organisms that are in the water and kill them along. And that can also be a cause for fish kills. All right, preventative measures. You can establish a dense turf. That's the number one runoff preventative. There's also an erosion preventative. When you have that heavy root system down, it prevents everything from running off. And then you can establish a buffer from where you spray or apply the fertilizer from 100 to 150 feet from any water source, and it also gives a range. So hopefully it catches in that turf or rocks or anything you have around there. Irrigation, you do not want to over irrigate, because if you over irrigate, you can promote disease and you can promote fungus, which will make you put down more herbicides and fungicides. And you also are wasting water, which is another concern. And here, I don't know if you can see it, fertilizer does not run nearly as bad as people think. You can see here where they didn't apply it very well, and you can see the strips, and it's on a hill, and as you notice, you don't see streaks where it rained down the hill. It stayed right there. So it does not run as bad as people make it out to be. And that's my presentation.
So is that those strips right there? Do you think that's caused by like kind of fertilizer? Like, do you think it like they placed it in the ground? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like those.
That's a bad calibration of the spreader. When they walked over it, it didn't sling it out.
Okay. I was thinking the ones that like buried into the ground with those little like forks.
No, that was done by a spreader. They had it calibrated really bad.
Why do you water from 2 to 6 a.m.?
Because you have the dew on there, and when you water, you can knock the dew off that way. Because if you put the dew, you say you have the dew down right when the sun comes up, and then you water it at like 8 a.m., then your leaves stay wet from 6 to 8 a.m. with the dew, and then from like 8 to 12 with the water. So the leaf wetness period is longer, so the fungus has a longer time to grow. And also other diseases grow when the ground's really wet and the turf is really wet, and then that'll cause you to put down more fungicides and herbicides.
Makes sense.